Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the White Noise Paranormal with Kurt and Mo. Tonight we have a very special guest who we want to give big thanks for coming on tonight, Brian Cano, or Brian J Cano as some people call him. You know him from The Haunted Collector, plus numerous amounts of other shows, Paracons, and everything else he's part of. So Brian, welcome to the show. Thanks a lot. Thanks for putting up with us with this last minute. Just, oh my God, I'm freaking out over here. Mo's like, oh, it's no big deal. But I'm like, I'm in the middle of, you're texting me. I'm like, dude, I got no text savvy whatsoever. Mo, please help. Text Brian. So, yes, we put Brian through a little bit of hell before, and we apologize. But, you know, we tend to operate sometimes that way, sometimes, and we just don't know where it falls. But we have fun with it, that's all.
Kurt, Mo, thanks for having me. This is pretty cool. This is video chat. This is Wave of the Future, which is actually not the newest thing, but you guys seem to be the only ones doing it, so kudos.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I'm trying to struggle on whether that's a good or a bad thing at the moment, to be fair. It's like, I like the way we can do it. It's so much easier than other ways we've interviewed people. Normally, by the way, it's a bit of a step because you've got to, obviously, when you're messing around with the hangouts and it's quite hard to sometimes initially set up, but it's really good when you do get into it. But the only downside to it is sometimes when you look at somebody in the face and you think, right, I've got to ask this person a question now, and you sort of look and you think, and no offense, I start looking on the shelf behind you, and I'm looking at you, it looks like you've got a string of decorations hanging up behind you, and I start noticing things left, right, and centre. Other side, is that a string of lights?
Those are Christmas lights that have been up for probably the past 15 years. I just don't take them down.
No. You were meant to say I've been decorating. See,
they're all Christmas lights.
Oh, there they go. All right.
You're festive.
Across the entire. I'm lazy. That's the correct word. I just never take them down.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. You're meant to be professional. Say, yeah, we need them. Decorations up.
Well, Christmas decorations have been known to enhance paranormal activity, so therefore for an investigation and an investigator, it keeps the activity at bay, so that is why Christmas lights, all the way from the 1800s and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and
well played.
Charles Dickens, the Ghost Club. Those gentlemen found out that actually it was in the original A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens that he had Christmas lights up, but then when something happened, he went upstairs, knocked them over. That's why the ghosts were able to come into his house.
People were assuming that it was chains on the Ghost of Christmas Past.
They were Christmas lights.
They were Christmas lights, yeah. And the bulbs, no. But unfortunately, there's one small fundamental flaw towards that. Not flaw. No, actually, the exact opposite. One thing which actually strengthens its paranormal existence, right? And that's based on the fact that there was absolutely no mains electricity in the 1800s. So
back then, there were little candles held on a string. Totally making this all up.
It's all no, dude.
There's going to be someone online who will start doing this next week and like, yeah, I heard Brian say this on a show. Let's try this. And then,
oh, dude, you know what's going to happen, Brian. You know what's going to happen. Or what happens is funny after a show. Let's say we have you on tonight. All of a sudden, I get this string of people that want to be my friend. I'm like, why do you want to be my friend? First of all, I have nothing to offer. Second, it's weird. And do you ever get that, Brian? I mean, do you just get like these strange people? All of a sudden, you're just getting bombarded with these friend requests on Facebook. And I hate Facebook sometimes. But there's times where it's enough to make you go, fake account, fake account, fake account.
Yes. No, I mean, I definitely get friended by a lot of people, and a lot of times I don't know them. It's because they've seen me on TV. But lately, I think the spam and the porn has been trying to really get me because I get these weird friend requests from like Rod Starter, and it's like, all right, it's a picture of a girl in a bikini. I'm like, Rod Starter? Okay, yeah, fake. No.
You are under the impression she's possibly sitting in her house now crying, wondering why you haven't friended her.
That's, you know what that is? That's a life lesson. That's like, honey, disappointment. It's going to happen. Deal with it.
You're helping her. You're helping her. I see what you did there.
I'm helping her. I'm being altruistic.
Yes, you're supportive. That's impressive. That's impressive. Now, I do agree with Kurt, especially with regards to social media and ever messing around with the paranormal field or any field like that. You do sort of you have something to not offer, but you have an opinion on something. Therefore, you either become everyone's friend or everyone's enemy in the blink of an eye. Unfortunately, and Facebook's the place which will either drag you down or lift you up quite high for 15 minutes till somebody posts a picture of a cat playing a piano or something like that, and then it's game over. It's on to the next meme.
Yes, that's so true. And it's hard because, I mean, unfortunately right now, because of Facebook and social media, that seems to be almost the first thing we check. I get up in the morning, I hop online, I check my email, I check my Facebook, I check my Twitter. And God, I sometimes hate it too, but you'll post something of importance, it'll get 5 likes. You post a cat picture, or you post something ridiculous, and it gets hundreds of likes. I'm like, really? These are the things that get your attention? So if I want to get something out, I have to put either a naked girl or a cat on it, and then I will get my message to the masses.
That's something I need to start doing. I do. I'm here on out. I mean, I message my parents quite a lot, and they never message me back, so I've got a funny feeling if I start messaging them like naked pictures of some random person, I might actually get, well, it could happen.
That's just wrong. Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
You're not going to get any Christmas gifts this year, dude. That's basically it.
Yeah, I don't get. Dude, I don't get Christmas gifts. I get Krampus gifts. I'm not. No, my wife's sitting in the corner saying I'm a moody ass. I'll never forget that. Yeah. I'm refunding your presents. Take that. Back to the more important part than your presents, which yeah, she's actually surrounded by presents on the floor. No, it's terrible. Back to the more important part. Listen, I'm made up, and I'm really surprised and happy that you popped on to come on and speak to us. More due to the fact that even before 5 minutes before the show, we had so many little technical issues to sort out. But again, truth to your word, you've turned up and it's brilliant. So again, thank you very much for coming on. Now, not to go and give you the big head. I've just been looking on IMDb to look at this wonderful myriad of things that you've done. And there's another one called, I'm on a website called Talks.com edition 17, and you've got there's lists and lists of like related links to you, and I don't know, it's everywhere I've searched for your name, all I keep finding is ridiculously photogenic pictures and loads of bios of you. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now,
it's weird. It's a weird thing because what was the movie called? It was Wanted, movie that came out a couple of years ago. Brilliant. And the beginning of the movie starts out, hey, have you ever Googled yourself? And the main character Googles himself, finds nothing, he gets all depressed. I Google myself, and there's pictures and there's articles, and sometimes the things you find are not the greatest, and sometimes the things you're like, oh, hey, that was kind of cool. I'm glad that still exists. There's a record of that somewhere. And I mean, I've been doing this for 13 years. I've been in the paranormal for 13 years. I can't do any new math and say, I've been doing this for 40 years. No, 13 years, that's how long I've been doing it. And you can go online and kind of track that. You could see that. You can, you'll watch some of my videos from the Scared series, and you'll see I'll say certain things that now I contradict. And that's because, there's been growth over those 13 years. So every now and then I do Google myself just to see what craziness is out there, what somebody's put up, and what, God forbid, bad stuff is up there.
There's two things that I've noticed as of late. Again, with the paranormal field, regardless to whether you are somebody who sits in his house or somebody who actually actively has a standpoint in media with regards to it all. And the thing you notice the most is a lot of these groups, they have a tendency of saying that, together as a group we've investigated for 55 years. And what is it? There's 10 of them. It makes you cringe. But then again,
I really want to reach through the computer and strangle them, because it's one of those things that, and again, when you first start, there's this desire to be taken seriously. So they can't say, we've been doing this 1 year. They want to get their name out there. They want to feel like, yes, we belong and we are part of this. So okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 10 of us. We've been in it a year. We've been doing this for 10 years. And no, stop that.
Yeah.
That makes me lose respect for you.
You look at it the right way. I think every single person in the paranormal field, we all do it naively. When we first start off, we say something or we do something because you see somebody on the television say, well, I go into houses and I do this, or I'm into demonology, I do this. I see orbs, I do this. So instantly you think that must be the way it's done. I'll do it. And we all do it off the starting block. We all make that stupid thing. We all do. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I can't remember what my first one was. I had a conversation about it a few weeks ago with somebody. It was one of those, what did you do wrong when you first started? I was like, I can't even think about what I'd done right when I first started. But again, it's progression. Without progression, you don't get to where you are. So don't worry about the contradictions that you see of yourself on the internet. Just see it as a learning curve. But people, unfortunately, will not see that. I don't know if you found that. Do people ever just try to call you out on things you've said? Like maybe, as I said, your theory's changed. So,
well, one video in specific that I pretty much get hate mail every day for is our Lizzie Borden episode.
Okay, I remember that. Okay.
It's got tons of comments. And all right, Lizzie Borden is very searchable. People, watching the TV show, she's constantly being looked up. So our video comes up a lot. That video was shot, I think, in 2008, 2009. So that's already 6-7 years old. I've progressed. My entire team has progressed. The field has progressed a little bit since then. So, we were first checking out phone apps. We were doing certain things. We were working with a particular psychic, Chris Moon, who had a telephone to the dead, which then had just started entering the forefront. And there was this stupid rumor about there was only 30 people on the planet that could use it. Now everyone's got a ghost box, but showing that video, people will be like, phone apps are stupid, you're dumb, oh, that psychic's a jerk. It's like, really, these are the comments that I deal with, and most of it is just like delete, ignore. But sometimes you'll get an intelligent comment that, all right, I will respond to, and a lot of times there will be an intelligent conversation. Even if they don't agree, that's fine, but they'll say, well, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Zach doesn't do that. Jason and Grant don't do that, and you have to. I kind of just have to bite my tongue and be diplomatic.
No, because you got to run in. The thing about it, Brian, what's interesting too, is with other guests we've had too, is you got to be real careful what you say when you're in the public eye, because when you're doing paracons or you're doing this, you're bound to run into some of these people that you might have bashed and not thought about it. You might have said some off-the-cuff comment. Nothing bad necessarily, but it's interesting. You got to worry. You got to think about that, because that helps pays your bill. That pays the bills right there. And you can't. Oh, that's it. It's interesting. But have you seen any growth in, or what's your favorite type of investigative tool that you'd like to say? See, I'm not much. I'm more or less just going with just the recorders, video, camera. Simple. But what?
I'm very much the same way. A nice segue away from that topic, by the way, Kurt.
Did you like that, by the way? I apologize.
I did. No, I saw that. It was as clear as a roadmap. I found that when you first start, you have nothing. And as you get into it, one by one, you get a piece of equipment, you get a new recorder, you get a millimeter, and then you have cases and cases and cases of equipment, and it takes you an hour just to load into the location. And then as time goes on, you find, I don't need this, I don't need that. Your team whittles away, your equipment whittles away, and you end up in there with a digital audio recorder and some form of EMF detector. Yes. And that's it. Yeah. I really feel that's all you need. That's all you need to have an experience. I mean, if you really want to document, if you really want to get empirical evidence, then yes, I do recommend certain equipments and certain things to say, like, all right, for the true scientists who want to gather data, we need to start hammering this down, because there's no way I can give you a personal experience, but if I could somehow say, the Cano coefficient says that at a milligauss measurements of 13.2 to 15.5 is a manifestation coming. We don't have those numbers yet, so I feel we need those people with the equipment at the locations trying to build up our database.
Unless you're Zach Bagans, who screams at the screen when he's got hold of a tri-field meter. Yeah, that's the one.
There's something over there. There's something over there.
No, it's you see him.
Karma gets me quick with that, because every time I do an impression, I hurt myself. I pull my back out of my. Ow!
People think you're doing the look at my muscles grown when it's actually just bones clicking in your back. No, I've been there. But you see, the one small failing that you notice with regards to shows like that, he's holding his meter. He's holding his meter and his tri-field meter. He's going, it's up to a 3. It's up to a 3.4. It's a 3.6. You're like, do you even know what a 3.6 consists of? Do you know what's causing that? As a matter of fact, do you know what the measurement of a milligauss is? Or are you just seeing a number and thinking, Jesus Christ, it says 3? It's just...
I mean, it's one of those things. Now, here's the thing. I mean, I wasn't on a TV show. I was on a TV show. Now I'm not on a TV show. And it's one of those things that the TV shows are for entertainment. And
clearly.
Again, just using him as an example, the man knows how to entertain. So I can't say anything bad about him in that respect. I mean, we produced one episode of the show for him at a location we did called Snug Harbor, and they were very gracious to us. They were very accommodating. They didn't try to steal credit. Like, I have nothing but good things to say about that particular production, because they treated us with respect. And,
of course.
You go on other shows. Even on my show, I wasn't allowed to wear my team logo. And I made it. I said, guys, I will give you the rights to display it. No. Because sci-fi doesn't want you to know that there's a life outside of the show. Even John, had to pretend that we didn't know people. Like one episode when we had Rosemary Ellen Guiley on, he said, well, I'm going to consult with an expert in the field. Let me see if they know what's going on. Not, I'm going to go talk to Rosemary because she's helped me in the past.
Yeah.
Those connections are important, and it creates a backstory. And I think that's very important that the shows are kind of missing out on. So.
No, I totally agree. It's worrying the way entertainment's actually perceived it, because if it wasn't for the entertainment sector, the paranormal wouldn't be where it was, because obviously it's the best way to showcase new equipment, to showcase locations, the best way to showcase what people perceive they should do. But again, when you start off, you're running a building with a torch and a camera, and you're looking around like you're expecting something to happen. You've got your eyes fixated on, exactly. You're fixated on a screen on your camera, and you're like, wow. And then again, like me, 6 years, 7 years into it, actually 8 years into it now, you sort of go, right, okay. You slowly walk in, you set up, and it's sort of, you change when you realise that the TV show is a TV show. You sort of change the way you think about it. You change the way you deal with the entire investigation itself.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, while we're on the subject of TV shows, I think the shows are great. Whichever flavor you like, whatever one you're into, that's great. Be entertained by it, but don't let that be your sole education of the paranormal. And it's one of those things that my show lasted 3 seasons, and then network politics kind of killed it. The people were watching, we were ready to go. It just got yanked for other reasons. But the shows that have been on for 10 plus seasons, I don't see them growing. I just see, we're so glad you're here, let's do this, and nothing further.
It comes down to, bottom line, it comes down to this. It comes down, are we making money for the company? Is it, the company or the network?
I will always defend the shows regardless of which one it is, because again, like I said, it's entertainment, and those people who are investigators have to work with producers, and sometimes their goals are the same, but more often than not, that partnership is a very limited time. So the shows are not documentaries, nor are they supposed to be. So watch them, be entertained, but then find out more on your own.
Pick up a book. Pick up a book and read. There's a lot of great authors out there, like Jeff, like Legend Tripping. It fell out of my closet. Yeah, Jeff Ballinger. Great book. Yeah. Great book. Just to
get your hand off the porn.
What do we got right there? Is it all porn? No. Okay.
Demonologist, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
All right, there we go.
Hans Holzer. We got
Holzer's nice.
All sorts of different things. Read. I can't stress read.
Yeah, Jesus, people don't realise, and if you're not prepared to read, Research and Write. Again, that's something which is...
Which one? Which one's that, Brian?
Yes, Rosemary Ellen Guiley's book, Ghosts and Spirits.
Okay.
This is you can easily spend hours just you'll go to look up one thing and you'll be like, oh, it's got a little footnote for something else, and you will spend hours lost in this book because there's just so much knowledge. Get it, buy it.
That's the thing with the paranormal in general. It's a rabbit hole. You think you'll start off at one location, or you'll start off with one piece of information, and before you know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're there cup of coffee, trying to work out what the hell's going on. You can see daylight, and you're like, Jesus, that went on a wild tangent, and then you'd never even found what you were looking for in the first place. You just found everything else around it, and that's not bad.
Exactly.
That's not bad. It's just I know. As soon as people start realizing that paranormal investigation isn't just bursting into a building and looking around, it's a lot about the research as well. You've got to put your effort in. If you don't, then you won't.
And Mo, to piggyback on what you're saying, I'm going back to the shows, and I'm not mentioning any names, but some of these shows, I mean, the equipment that they show, you're talking about $1,000, $1,200 piece of equipment that, let's say, Zach's using because of Bill Chappell. The sponsorship, or somebody's got a nice FLIR, a $2,000 FLIR, which is still not expensive compared to what they go up to. But it's interesting, though, as if you were a newbie to the whole thing, would you say, wow, I really need to spend $900 to $1,000? Explain what I was talking about, Mo. You can explain this tech side, what you put together.
Here's the thing about that. I mean, when it comes to tech, owning a piece of equipment does not engender you with the knowledge to be a good investigator. I've seen this so often where newbies come into the field, they've bought every piece of equipment that the show has told them to, and they're like, well, I don't know what this does, but here, let's use this. And I think, would you approach any other job in this fashion? You'd be fired in a second. Get out. Get out of my face.
It's like turning up to an electrician's job. Leaving McDonald's today and turning up at the tool belt and go, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Or being a policeman.
I always tell people, you can't watch Grey's Anatomy or any kind of doctor show and go, you know what? I'm going to operate tomorrow. Let's do this. I got my scrubs, and we're doing it. We're hysterectomy right now.
Hysterectomy. Awkward. No. 2 bricks. Oh, no, I totally agree. But there is another question with regards to the technology that's on the shows. Do you believe and this might seem like a leading question, I don't mean to sound leaded with it, but do you think there's a piece of equipment out there which is a massive faux pas? Is there something which you look at and go, oh, maybe that shouldn't have came out?
I find that the equipment these days, there's really not a lot new under the sun. I mean, it either works with EMF, some wave detecting, or some kind of either electromagnetic or static energy, or some variation of an EVP/ITC real-time communicator. So we don't have a lot that's new. So a lot of it is it's like Mexican food. It's beans, meat, cheese in different forms. Call it a taco, call it an enchilada, call it a burrito. It's the same goddamn ingredients, but you know what?
Yes.
You pick one and you're like, I like this, I like that. Yeah. What I do abhor, and it's not a piece of equipment, but it's a method.
A flashlight. Don't say the flashlight.
The flashlight.
Yeah.
I get sent into a murderous rage when people go, let's consult the flashlights. And I say, ugh. And they ask me to go, well, why don't you like it? And I said, well, would I go to my car and just, loosen the battery thing and hope that I got home? No, it's just completely and methodically stupid.
Oh, no, that's amazing. I'm glad you said that.
That was awesome.
There's a gentleman who's got a channel on YouTube, Viper Paranormal. The guy's name is Mike St. Clair. He is an absolute legend with it, because the first thing he done when he seen that was he made a debunking video. I messaged him. I think he stepped away from the paranormal a little bit and he does magic. He does like parlor magic, I think it's called. And when I spoke to him about the torch trick, and he said ever since he posted it, he got asked loads of questions about it, and then everything just stopped. And nobody asked any questions. It's just people were watching it and they just sort of accepted the fact that it was just absolute bull. And
it's ridiculous, because it's been featured on a couple of shows, so people take it as gospel that, yes, the spirits are communicating. And I mean, if you're going to be a scientist about it, Occam's razor says that, hey, the most simple explanation is probably the most accurate one. So, all right, you're going to take a flashlight, unscrew it so that the batteries are just touching. Like, what are you hoping for? You know what? I say keep it screwed on, and if they could turn it on, maybe then I will listen.
Yeah. That's the best way of doing it. Now, again, we'll move off there. I'm going to move on to equipment slightly in more depth. Now,
I get mad. You got me all worked up. I'm
flashlight. He punched me through the screen.
Right?
I just got knocked out just for that flashlight trick.
Well played for hitting Kurt. But yeah, where equipment's concerned now, not everybody has an inexhaustible well of money. Unfortunately, we are limited as people. It's just that society. Now, if you had an inexhaustible well and you could afford to buy one piece of equipment for an investigation, what would you put your money to?
That's a good question. I've always put it forward that you don't have to be Bruce Wayne to investigate the paranormal. You don't need the gadgets. They're nice to have. They're good if you can afford them, and if you do buy them, know what they do, know how they work, know the theories behind them. Don't just be that rich kid on the team who funds everything and doesn't know a thing about what you're doing.
That's me.
I honestly think I really have everything that I would like, although the DVR system on Haunted Collector we had was pretty boss. It was pretty tricked out. We had 14 cameras. 2 of them were the pan tilt zoom ones, the bubble cams. 2 of them were full spectrum, and there was a couple of night vision ones. So like they were military grade, so that's not something I can afford on my own. And it came built in this Pelican box. And just set it up, open the lid, and go. And at home, I've got this little tiny box, this little Night Owl 4-camera system that, hey, it gets the job done. But if I could, I would love to have my Haunted Collector set up back.
Do you know what? Right, the way technology has changed at the moment. I work in electronics as a career, and I get to see, like, for instance, new CCTV that's coming through or new thermal imaging that comes through. It's part of my job. Now, there's a new piece of CCTV equipment called NVR. Have you ever heard of it?
What is it?
NVR.
NVR. No, I'm not familiar with that.
Right. Network video recorder, as opposed to DVR, which is just digital video. It runs through network cable. The cameras are 1080p, straight out the box. 2.1 megapixel sensors on them. They're absolutely amazing. And you can pick one up in Britain for about £400, £500. It's not.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'll say it's not that bad at all. But I think when you come across some of these systems and some of the equipment you see on the shows, you need to bear in mind, especially when you watch some of the shows, it's 8-9 months down the line. Technology moves so quick that 9 months is a long time.
Well, while we were filming, every case we went to, the producers are asking me, what's new? What have you got? What's new? And I said the same thing to them. I said, it's all kind of the same 3 things. I can't have a different... Look, if I could have one device that worked every time, I would use it. But, we're not at that level. We're not there yet.
Well, I don't mean to sound horrible, but I'm struggling to believe we will get there when you're getting saturated by the ideologies that the media's putting into your head. When the new people start, they believe they need to follow the same path, and I think that's sort of going to slow any progression down. You can't help it. But again, that's just down to my own personal opinion.
And you're talking about even like EMF detectors, whatever one, millimeter, whatever you use. I just use I like compasses. You got a nice compass that will bring, if supposedly if you're in the field, there is an EMF around, it will make its way around. I mean, something as simple as that will, instead of dropping $200 and stuff like that on a millimeter, buy a compass.
I love my millimeter though. It's so.
I have one.
So Swiss Army knife. It's got like 18 different functions built into it. Gary hooked me up, and it's. I pick it up, and there it is. Here's everything I need for the most part. So we got a little flashlight. It's great.
Oh, you got the real. You got the souped up version. Nice.
Yeah. So, did you feel like James Bond when it came? Did you feel like James Bond with M when he walks in, and he gives you a pen, that can blow something up.
More like I felt more like Ray Stantz from the Ghostbusters. I was like, "Wow, we gotta try this."
Dancing toaster. Well, let's give it a go. But again, where technology is concerned, if I had to look at a piece of equipment which over the next 12 months could help us more with regards to investigating, I'd look at the Fitbit. You know, that activity tracking watch. That thing measures your heart rate, and I think anything that's going to measure your heart rate in a situation when you are the best piece of equipment that you're ever going to take on an investigation anyway, because it's always your goosebumps, it's always perspiration, your heart rate.
Mo, it's just going to show how fast you run from things. You know that, don't you? You know, it's going to see you just book ass. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian, I didn't mean that. We tend to go back.
I always did want to well, the way my team works, we always have the 3 pillars, and that's the psychic, the scientist, and the skeptic. And I always wanted to outfit our psychic with diodes to kind of check out her metabolic rate and everything that was going on with her while she's receiving, while she's sensing whatever it is that she's communicating with. And I never got a chance to do so. So I still think, I mean, with things like the Fitbit now, hey, this is great. We can get measurements without having to have 50 things glued to one's face and body to get certain measurements, and I think that's a good thing.
It's back to the good old way of the paranormal, though. It's getting something which is totally unrelated to the paranormal and slightly utilizing it to make it work. Now, there's only a few pieces of equipment which have ever been made with paranormal investigation in mind. Very, very few. Even down to the Ouija board was a game. It wasn't something which was made for this purpose, but it got sort of retrofitted to the purpose, which is kind of weird. But if there's one piece of advice that you could give walking away from the shows, what's that piece of advice that you give to people with regards to it all?
With regards to being on a show or viewing the shows?
So what have you pulled from it? What have you learned yourself?
What did you walk away from
being on the shows? Yeah.
The biggest life lesson from the shows.
Producers are mind-boggling, and they are non-human beings who don't make sense. But that's just.
I know. I'm proud of you for that one. I'm very proud of you for that one. That's amazing.
It's true. I mean, thank God for John Zappis, because then again, I have to hand it to our production team. They were great people. They made good TV. They made us look like rock stars every week. And when we would start the season, they were just like, all right, camera guys and producers and sound people, this was a job to them. And then little by little, things would happen. And things would present themselves to them. And they would go up to John and I and say, guys, this is real? Like, yes, this is real. To them, they thought we were just actors, you know, hamming it up. Once they were on board, they respected what we did, we respected what they did, and that's great. But then it's the executives in the ivory towers in their offices that make decisions that are just mind-boggling. So that's I tell people all the time, you know, because not a week goes by, not a week when I don't get at least 3 emails or calls from people that I know saying, hey, we're shooting a sizzle reel. I'm going to be on a show. I'm going to be on TV. Not important.
Who cares? Who cares?
Like, that's great. All right, what do you want from me? A medal, a pat on the back? Hey, welcome to the club. You're going to be poor too. Hey, look forward to January because the IRS is going to kick your ass.
It is what it is.
But that's what you wanted, so welcome.
Yeah.
What's interesting, Brian? There's the people that don't want to get on TV. They get pulled into it, you know, that end up in being part of it. And then there are people that will sell their soul. And I'm seeing more and more of this to be on just some, you know, 2-bit paranormal show. And I mean, and you see the difference, you know, after talking to him, you're like, that dude's a lot more solid. That guy really wanted to sell his soul. So, I mean, do you see a lot of that talking to these people?
Every day. Like I said, not a week goes by when someone doesn't contact me going, hey, how do I get on TV? And I said, I don't know. I was on TV once. What do you want from me?
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Like, don't run the other way. If you're going to do it independently. YouTube, I mean, that's all you, honestly, that's all you need. And if you're a serious investigator, you know, hey, if you want to get on TV for fame, great, that's your thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But be honest about it. Don't say, I want to help people, and then be working on your sizzle reel every week, because it's not the same goal.
Yeah.
If you want to be a researcher, your nose should be in the book, researching. Your nose should be on the field, in the trenches, doing the job, not worrying about what phone call with what producer you have next week. It's not important.
I mean, there's been times, rather naively, when we started up as a group, that one of our members was talking about, should we write a book? And I always remember the conversation. I was like, it would be good to write a book. What the hell can we offer anybody? What could we offer them? I don't think there's anything. There's nothing. It's not as if we know anything professional as a team when we started. It was hilarious. You love taking us around, don't you?
I do, because I'm coming. There's going to be a physical prop in a second.
Go for it.
I'm glad you said that, because people are always telling me, Brian, you should write a book. And I said, I will when I have something to say. And eventually I'll bring one out. But I'm not going to point out any names. But you get a book that's this thin. You see how thin it is? Oh, the camera can't almost pick it up because it's so thin. I'm not going to show you. I don't want to embarrass the author. It's 51 pages with like 3 blank pages at the end. That's not a book. That's a pamphlet.
I was going to say that. Is that a leaflet?
You want to see a book? Pow! Look at this. This is thick. This is a book. This is Surviving Evidence by Krista Cesare. This is just a memoir of his experiences, and he has more to say than supposed authors and investigators that should be giving out experience. I have people who have been in the paranormal for a year or two, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to write my book." I'm like, "On what? Yeah. What do you have to say with 1 year's experience? Hey, I had a great time, and here's my book. I'm an author now. Stop it."
Or you could lift weights with Hans Holzer's Ghost book. That thing is so thick. I love it, though. Don't get me wrong. I love that book. But
do you know why? Why it's so big?
This is not ghost. This is true ghost story. So this is little in comparison to that ghost book. That ghost book gives you back problems.
No, it's not that. It holds your house down in tornadoes as well. It's really good.
It does. It's handy.
It's a ground anchor. It's amazing. But
hey, what's Alexandra Holzer up to these days? I was listening to her a while back, and I have no clue. I saw the look. Never mind. Let's keep going with what we need to go with.
I find your line.
That's all I needed to know.
Disturbing.
You just never mind.
No, honestly, I mean,
one time,
it's one of those things. It's like, people ask me all the time about John Zaffis, and it's like, okay, that's great. It's relevant. Yes, he's a big part of my life, and it's relevant to ask me about John. But it's like, hey, let's talk about everyone in the paranormal. I don't know. Hopefully everyone's doing all right.
I was just curious because we were talking about Hans Holzer. I was like, what about his daughter? I mean, I always hear about her.
I will say very quickly, my only dealing with that individual is back in the days of MySpace, and
never mind. We're not even going to backtrack. But we do want to know, Brian. I'm not even going to go there. I apologize.
But no, the only cool thing about it was that I got to see Hans Holzer's old apartment and all his stuff. Like, he had letters from presidents on the wall, and it's like, you know what? Respect. That's a guy who was in a suit every day, just being classy, and I dig that. I'd like to see more of that.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Now another thing. Now we talked about pre-show. All right, you've been in front of the camera. Here comes. Look at Mo's face. What is the most embarrassing? And I will say my embarrassing thing. Mo's got something, and Mo. But what is the most embarrassing thing while investigating that's ever happened to you, on camera or off camera? It makes no difference. That you think you're like, wow.
It would have to be. It wasn't so much like one embarrassing thing, and yeah, I guess you could say it was embarrassing. On the shows, when we would film the Haunted Collector, we had different filming days. So, like, I was always on the nighttime investigation team, and I was usually paired off with Jason or Chris. Meanwhile, John was either with Beth, and then later on Jesselyn, and he had the expert interview parts. He had some of the investigation. So it was very rare that we were together. So a lot of times we didn't get to talk and have all the information that each other had. But meanwhile, the producers were plugged into all of us, so he would have like a lot of talks and he would download all the information to them and vice versa before. So sometimes the producers would say things or do some things that would just kind of set him off and he'd be mad about something. And earlier in the day, he and I would be fine, and we're joking, and then we get on the set and he's all grumbly. And I don't know why, because he's mad about something else. But this manifested one time when we were at a case in, I think it was Ansonia, Connecticut, and we were looking for a Ouija board in an attic. And it was Jason and I were in the attic. We were looking through boxes trying to find this Ouija board. And I tripped. I fell onto a box. And I said, oh crap, I hope I didn't break anything important. Lo and behold, I look inside. There was a Ouija board in 2 pieces. So, okay. All right, Ouija board in 2 pieces. Maybe it was like that. Maybe it wasn't. So we were like, John, we found the Ouija board. You better get up here. And I'm holding it. I'm holding it.
Okay.
And he goes, don't you touch it. Don't touch it. I'm like, yeah. So he gets up there. He's like, I thought I told you not to touch it. Dropping F-bombs all over the place. And I said, look, I didn't mean to. My body hit the box, which then hit the board, and this is what happened. So don't get mad at me that I didn't do, like I'm disobeying orders. And we kind of had a little mini blowout there because I had enough of this shit from the road. And you film for months and weeks at a time. Everybody gets antsy. Yeah. We blew up at each other. All the producers were like, what just happened? Oh my God, because nobody goes against the old man.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen. So I was mad, he was mad. It was squashed hours later, but it was one of those things where it's like, it was an embarrassing moment because we're filming, and it's like, look, I'm not a 10-year-old kid. Don't chide me like that, in there. But again, we're on the same team, and we're so close that we can do that and blow up at each other. I wouldn't recommend anyone else do it or try it though.
No, I don't think so. Mo, you're next, but you can't use the graveyard. You can't use the graveyard.
Okay.
You got to use something different than the graveyard on this one.
Okay, first things first, Brian. I understand that you and you had a blow off, right? I know you have had stress. I'd love to have been the cameraman. No offense. Or I'd love to have seen the cameraman's face when you two are flipping on each other. The cameraman's like that goes.
That footage must exist somewhere. I would love to get it.
I'll some B-roll footage somewhere, man.
I'll find it on YouTube. Don't worry, we'll get it. But as for me, God, most embarrassing thing that's happened to me, other than the graveyard scenario, which was awkward as hell, I can tell you something that happened to a team member of mine. Which is
no, it's got to be you.
That doesn't count.
We're putting anybody on the spot. We all got to admit. We all got to admit to something.
Right. I walked into a fallen ceiling. Where the ceiling in a building had fell.
Fallen ceiling?
Do you know where a ceiling falls in a building? Like for
instance, and it kind of goes, yeah.
I've turned around, stopped, and walked into a pipe hanger from the ceiling. And again, I got all the moral support you'd expect from your team when they stopped laughing. I fell over a bin. I've slid down a set of stairs. I fell into a grate do you know the way in an old grave when the wood decays in the coffin, it just sinks. I've been filming. I've walked back and fell straight into one of them, and I've been left on the floor laughing. As for the team member I was talking about, we've been in a McDonald's once, and he does the coffee run because everybody has the designated coffee collector. And we sent up Mark, our designated coffee collector at the time, and I said to him, for the love of God, I'm too tired for you to spill me coffee, please don't do it. And as he turned round, he spun, slipped, it went everywhere. This little woman ran towards him, the cleaner, and she looked like he'd shot at a dog. I was like, oh my God, could this have happened? It was that, no kickoffs, just embarrassing things happen to me normally on a regular basis. The only other one I'm not going to mention, I'm going to leave that for a later date, was involved a stairwell and a camera, but we'll leave that one. Kate, you go.
Since I did the runner last week, I talked about the runner when I heard these guys talking. We were doing. I'll tell about this. Then I got another one real quick. That happened. we were doing an investigation. It was about 2 a.m. on the Mississippi River, right on the levee in Missouri. I mean, we were out in God's country. Don't ask me, I'm almost an atheist. So we're out there in the middle of nowhere. It's freezing out. But my girlfriend knows the owner of this house. It's a dilapidated old house. We're like, hey, let's go in there. Let's do some filming, see what we get done. We set up a bunch of recorders around and stuff like that. Our task cams and all. We put our things around it. And I'm in there. I'm like, it's all quiet. She's up in the attic, running around, filming, doing this, that. And I swear to God, I heard two guys having a conversation in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. This place is something like out of Deliverance. And all of a sudden, yeah, I know it's kind of weird to say that, but all of a sudden, all of a sudden, I'm like, yo, hey, Lynette, man, these two people are rolling up on us. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? I go, we better get out of here. So she goes we go in the car. She goes around back of this old house.
And there's a kid with a banjo.
Oh, I would lose it if I saw the kid with the banjo. I would have ran in the other direction. And she goes, see, no one's there. And then to this day. But another thing happened at her house. She had an ex-husband who was very abusive. I mean, literally physically abusive. And weird stuff happens when I go there, and she's very skeptical too. So it's not like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's ghosts, it's this. She goes, no. She goes, it's not. We heard somebody go, boom, boom, smashing her wall. We were sitting there because we're getting ready to go out. I'm like, what the hell was that? And so I grab a ladle. And I told this on another show I was a guest on. I grabbed a ladle, the kind you melt, you stick in a fire from the 1800s and it melts things. I'm like, get your gun, get your gun. Girl's got more guns than I have. I don't own a gun. But I grabbed the ladle. So I go to the door, open the door, jump back, and I was getting ready to crack someone with the ladle. Nobody was there. And then we went running around the house. Nobody was there. But we both were sitting there. We heard boom, boom, like somebody. And I go, then I did ask her later on, I go, did your ex, whenever he'd get mad, would ever beat on the wall? She goes, yeah, that's what exactly it sounded like. But to me, with a ladle, what am I going to do to somebody with a ladle? Yeah. I mean, that's embarrassing. You know, I'm supposed to be the protector, and I'm running around with a ladle.
He's going to it. He's going, go get your gun. Go get your gun. I've got a ladle.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a gun. Well, I got a ladle. So that's basically embarrassing as hell. And yes, I will admit to that.
You're embarrassment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what have you got coming up? What's new? What's 2016 bringing to you?
2016 right now is still being formed. I'm taking a break right now. My last gig was at Mineral Wells PowerCon in Texas last week, so I actually have a couple of weeks off before I have to hit the road and do all sorts of things. But in February is Spirit Cruise 2 out of New Orleans. We're going on a nice little week-long cruise, doing a lot of little paranormal things, starting in NOLA.
It's a hard life.
Yeah. PowerCon Australia next year. Trying to get to the UK.
Make it even harder.
It is. It's a tough life. Trying to get back to the UK. Some things keep presenting themselves and falling apart, but I'm still hacking.
That's the United Kingdom in a nutshell. Everything falls apart. Sorry, Mo.
Only one person's laughing, I see. But
the other person's getting messages in Facebook saying you're dead to me. No. I mean, the UK has a lot to offer, including rain and dreary weather. That's all we've got. And bad.
Yeah, but I want to get back there. When I was there last year, I had a great time and made a lot of good friends.
Did you get up to any investigating over this side?
The Derby jail.
Yeah, Richard Felix's place.
Yeah, Richard was there. They keep telling me about the Halls of Justice, and all I keep thinking about is Superman and Batman, but
it's far more boring than that. I'm not going to lie to you. You'd expect
Meanwhile,
it to be really good.
The Hall of Justice.
Yeah, and then when you get there, you realise it's just this big old dreary court, which is made the old crap wood. It is. It is literally, it's an anticlimax. In Britain, that's a lot of it. People, I've spoke to a lot of people outside of Britain, and they've gone, it must be amazing because of the big old castles and buildings. And then when you walk into the castle, you're like, it stinks away. It's not a very nice place.
Yeah.
It's kind of just damp and crap, basically. But I don't know. I'm just moaning. It's just me.
Some other events, Salem Con 2 coming up, I believe in March or May. It's in a month. I'm trying to get my schedule together, so when I have that, I'm going to post it on my site. And
so you're rolling busy, basically, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to have business and have some sort of a social life when I'm not being out there.
Do you know what? If I ever had to do business and social life, I'd do it the way you do it. I've got to go to Australia, Paracon. I've got to go to.
Damn.
Oh no! I've got to do I really have to go to Salem? Oh, no, Brian. No offense. My heart feckin' bleeds for you. It really does. I feel nothing but for the sorrow that you have to live day by day. If I'm ever allowed into church, I'll pray for you for that. Yeah.
All right. Good.
I'll pray for a 9-to-5 job for you.
I'll be. Hey, those 9-to-5 jobs pay. Those jobs pay. This one, not so much. But I'm seeing different things. I'm experiencing life.
Do the Paracons pay much? I mean, out of honesty, because I've always wondered that. Because you get some big names sometimes. And
don't even kid yourself. Like Beyond, there's probably 3 people out there who get paid very well, and you know who they are.
Yes, I understand.
The rest of us are about 1 paycheck away from homelessness. So
Okay. Oh no. Okay, that's understandable. Yeah.
You want to be on TV? That's what you can expect. So.
No. Do you know what? At least you're doing it right. That's the best part about it. You're doing it right. You're doing everything the way it should be done. I mean, you're under no misconception that you're going to get rich tomorrow just due to the fact that you delve into the paranormal. And again, I'd say 99.9% of people who are involved in the paranormal will never get fame, nor fortune, nor recognition for what you do. And as long as you get past the fact that you're never going to get that, you start doing it for the right reasons as opposed for the financial gain.
Well, you know what? I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for 13 years. I've made so many mistakes. I thought some things were important and they weren't, and I'm here now. So whenever I go to a convention or I go on the college lecture circuits, for those people who are new at this and who have started groups, if I can afford them a shortcut to a better place, that's what I'm there to do. I'm there to give them the right information, to demystify some of the illusions that TV portrays, and to say, hey, look, the black T-shirt is not important. The acronym of a clever name fit on it, not important. The website, not important. The work, you'll come to that. And I can't give that to you, but I could at least try to help steer people in the right direction.
That's cool. That's a great way of doing it, man.
I've noticed that the high-profile guests like yourself that we've spoken to with regards to the paranormal have all said the same, that maybe we all do it for each other, not just for yourself. Most of the time it's what you can offer is you're offering to people as opposed to this is what I've got and you're not going to see it. And it's all the smaller groups that never amount or never, it's the ones who are trying to amount to something that never get anywhere because they try the hardest to keep themselves segregated from the rest of the world, and it's not the right way of doing it. I mean, communication will fix everything on the planet, no matter what. There's nothing that can't be fixed with a lot of communication, logistically, of course, and especially with the paranormal. If we don't talk between each other, we don't have communication, there's no way we could ever progress. So that's where I stand.
I'm glad you brought that up because there's a project that's being put together. It was on Kickstarter earlier this year. It's called the Paranormal Database.
Yes.
And just like IMDb is for movies, the Paranormal Database, they're setting it up right now to be that space so that people can just participate and upload. And it's not a social media where, hey, I'm going to like this and post this picture. No, it's for evidence. It's for reports. So, hey, maybe I'm going to the Halls of Justice. I'll go look it up on the Paranormal Database, see what teams have been there, what prior evidence has been captured, and from there I could use that both for the history and to know what to expect. Like, okay, they said this happens there, but that's been proven fake. Great, that just saved me some work because I did a little bit of research targeted at that location, and I think it's a great project. I've backed it. I believe it's paranormaldatabase.com.
How much are you talking if you wanted to join or you wanted to be part of it? Is it monetary or is it can anybody do it?
Anybody can do it. They ran a Kickstarter campaign to pay for the hosting fees for a year.
Understand.
It didn't get funded, but they're like, this is too important. We're doing it anyway, and they're going about it right now.
I'm going by memory. Is there symbol or is it a black symbol with a green figure in it? I'm pretty sure I've seen something on the Android Play Store or Google Play Store that is actually a paranormal database at the moment. I'm sure of it.
The one that I'm thinking of, I think it's put out by the Paranormal Warehouse. I'm bad at this because I'm dealing with so many things at once, but I think you could go to paranormaldatabase.com. Let's point to our browsers there and see what comes up.
Oh no, I'll definitely be giving. Are you checking now? Are you?
I am.
Yeah, I'm checking also. I want to see this. How bad?
Okay, right now it's at paranormaldata.com. It's a beta version. It describes the mission. It's important because again, it's not a money-making thing where it's like, hey, you can join and be this and get this. It's just like, look, you know what? This is for all of us, by all of us. So you want to get out, you got to put in. So that includes putting in your reports, taking the time to really update your part of it. I mean, just like in the scientific community, if I come up with a theory or a hypothesis that I'm working towards, I have to publish a paper so that my peers can review it, and that's the only way we're going to advance. And move forward, we have to move forward. And it's like I was saying before with the TV shows, they haven't moved forward with any process. It's just kind of the same thing over and over and over and over again. Well, what's next? We have to.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And you know what? We're coming to the end of the show. I'm actually going to end it on that because I think, as footnotes to shows go, there's never a show I've had where it's been ended like that. All I expected from behind you then was an American flag wave, and that was impressive. No one ever. that was really good. Here we go.
We're going. We're traveling. Okay.
There we go.
So festive.
That's awesome.
Like the end of The Patriot with Mel Gibson, and he's just sitting there like
he's charging,
swinging the old glory. Yes, America. It is. Yes.
I love it. Right. Well, anyway, as I said, Brian, this is it. This is the end. I'm really happy that you came on. Even after trying to get you set up and trying to get everything running on, it's been brilliant. I'm over the moon that you've came on. Again, you're welcome back anytime. Even if you just want to come back. Even if you just want to come back and terrorize somebody or tell us that you've decided to take up cookery.
And just tell us how the biggest cruise you went on, and just let us sit there and just sulk. Please do it.
No one ever booked me yet. But no, that's amazing. I'm over the moon. And again, as I said, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So thanks very much, and see you again, guys.
Yep.
Bye now. Bye-bye.